And you know, my name is Geeta, the Divine Song, and I do Voice of Sanatan Hinduism radio show with Tara the Star Narsimhan. And actually, I'm very, very humbled. And more than honored, I'm humbled and I feel so blessed to introduce this great man, human being, inspirational human being, and a great devotee. I know you're a devotee of Durga Mata and also a great devotee of Ramana Maharshi ji, who is very dear to my heart. And let's welcome a Texas size, a big welcome to David Frawley ji. And he's also called as Pandit Vamadeva Shastri and Yogini Shambhavi Devi, his better half. Let's show our love. Put your hands together. Thank you. I couldn't hear to your claps, by the way, because the drums, the Darshanji's drums were so loud, but I enjoyed them. My dear friends and kids, whoever present here, I would like to read a few lines of Shastriji's achievements and also contributions to humanity. David Frawley ji is a Pandit, Vedacharya and a professor, Vedic teacher, author of over 30 books in Vedic field, including Yoga and Ayurveda. He is the founder, director of American Institute of Vedic Studies, which also offers online courses. Shastriji's work, he works with Deepak Chopra ji and is the main master educators and advisors for Chopra Center. And he's also received highest education title possible from S. Vyasa, Swami Vivekananda Yoga University, the only yoga university that is recognized by Government of India. And also, he is the recipient of the prestigious Padma Bhushan Award, one of the highest civilian awards for distinguishing service of high order. I hear some claps. And friends, if you think you're modern and you're interested in spirituality or Hinduism, you need to. It's a must read. His book, Arise Arjun. So if you consider yourself modern, please read that book. And Shastriji has not only been honored by many groups in India, as like Swami Narayan BAPS, Chinmaya Mission, Swami Dayananda, and not only that, he is honored by different schools of thoughts and faiths. And he was asked to be a visiting professor for Sanchi University of Buddhist and Indic Studies of India. And Philip Goldberg, in his popular book, American Veda, recognized Shastriji as one of the modern gurus. So many other organizations and scholars also recognized him as a modern guru. And Vamadeva Shastriji's resume is too long, so it's very unfair to curtail in 5 minutes. So I would ask you to check his website. You can visit his website. You can search Vamadeva Shastri and you can get his website too. And if you're as inspired as me, we will now proceed for a small prayer by Mataji, Shambhavi Devi, and then we'll listen to his message from Arise Arjun. Thank you.
Namaskar everyone. It's a great honor to be here and to invoke the Devi as Sarvamangala, drawing the auspiciousness into our lives. Narayani Namaste Sarvasvarupe Sarveshe Sarvashakti Samvite Dayapyastra Hino Devi Durge Devi Namaste Ma Durge Devi Namo
I know. Just go ahead. But you keep an eye on it. Oh.
Isn't that so serene and beautiful? I mean, in a fair kind of thing, I think we experienced peace in midst of fear. That was so wonderful. And by the way, Yogini Shambhavi Devi is a master yoga teacher with deep knowledge of Raja Yoga and teaches Yoga Shakti retreats and programs at American Institute of Vedic Studies. She just rendered a beautiful bhajan. I think we can also learn the devotion and bhajans from her as well. And well, now it's the time. I'm so excited because Shastriji is going to talk about Rise Arjun, and Arjun is my favorite. When my grandfather used to tell stories about, Arjun, I used to think I should get a husband like Arjun. So that's how close Arjun is for me, and I'm so excited to listen about Arjun, Arise Arjun from Shastriji. Arjun is in you, Arjun is in me, and Arjun is in Vamadeva Shastriji too. So let us all welcome our keynote speaker, Pandit Vamadeva Shastriji, to address all Arjuns present here. So listen to him carefully because it's going to be an important message for all the Arjuns present right now, right here.
Namaste. Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram.
Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Well, first I am very honored to be before you, all the Hindus of Houston. And Houston has been very close to me over the years. I've been coming here for, I think, 25 years. And I did a lot of programs here back in the 90s and some years ago and got to meet so many of you. And I'm very happy to see how much the community has grown, how many wonderful temples there are, how many devoted Hindus there are in so many directions of the Sanatana Dharma. What a growing and flourishing community you have. So I think you have every right to be proud of your great accomplishments in this country at personal, material, and spiritual levels. And I wish you the best, greatest unfoldment of that for all the years to come, so that Houston becomes a light of Sanatana Dharma for the United States and for the entire world. Standing before you, of course, I was born in this country. I was actually born in a Catholic family in the Midwestern United States, one of 10 children. And we didn't know anything of India, much less of the Hinduism. But fortunately, in my late teens, I was able to come into contact with a number of the great yogic teachings that were coming to America at that particular time. including from many groups, Paramahansa Yogananda, for example, and also many groups. I had an interest in the original tradition, and that brought me to a study in India, and it brought me to a study of the Sanskrit, and to a going back to the Vedic teachings. I spent a lot of my 20s actually studying Rig Veda in the original Sanskrit, the oldest Vedic text. And fortunately, I came into contact with teachers in India like Sri M.P. Pandit, who was the secretary of the Aurobindo Ashram, who began publishing my work in India, which was very surprising because I had no idea I would be doing that work. Over time, I picked up some of the yoga, Ayurveda, the whole gamut of the Vedic knowledge, and one thing unfolded after another. I met with very wonderful teachers in India at the Aurobindo Ashram, Raman Ashram, came into contact with Anandamoy Ma, with our great Sadguru Sri Shivananda Murti of Andhra Pradesh, with Swami Dayananda. I did also a lot of work with the Swami Narayan movement and was there when that large temple, Akshardham, in Delhi was built. So it's been a wonderful journey for me, a movement in synchronicity, a movement in interconnections, and coming to meet a lot of the great teachers of India, both in the West and in India itself. And also recently then coming into contact with a lot of the great leaders of India today. And we have to give a lot of credit for our current Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, for his great work in reviving India's Sanatana Dharma and bringing that influence to the West, to President Obama, and raising the Hindu community in the West. We met with him several times last year. We have known him for many years and found him to be a tremendous inspiration, and we want that inspiration to continue to grow for the future. Many years ago in India, I had an Ayurvedic doctor who I was studying with. His name was Dr. Balavashta. He also ended up being a major RSS leader, and he was a major writer for RSS publications in Maharashtra. He was the editor of Kesari. He wrote books on Guru Gobind Singh and many others. And he asked me at some point, he said, look, you've been studying all this information, this knowledge, you're steeped in the Hindu tradition. Please write something for the youth about Hinduism and the value of this tradition. And the result of that was the first article I wrote on this topic called Arise, Arjuna, taking the image from the Bhagavad Gita. That article was published in actually 1989 through the VHP there in India. And a couple of years later, I received a phone call from the Swami Narayan movement in the United States asking me to speak on Arise Arjuna at the Cultural Festival of India in 1991 in New Jersey. And I did that, and that eventually led to the writing of the book. But all of that is very outward. It is the inner reality of Krishna and Arjuna that we need to understand. And in that regard, of course, Krishna is everything. Krishna is the entire universe. Krishna dwells in the hearts of all beings. Krishna is our own Paramatma, our own inner, our own supreme self. Krishna is the core of our being, around which the entire universe resolves, and out of which comes the highest bliss, the highest knowledge, and the highest realization. But how do we come to that? We are born as human beings. We are born in this very difficult world of duality, prakriti, gunas, doshas, karmas, tremendous conflict among human beings. And we are cast in this world of ignorance or avidya. And our first impulse is to withdraw, not to make an effort, to stay in the background, not to make any waves, not to stand for anything, not to come into conflict with anyone. But the fact is, to go anywhere in the world, you must make an effort. You must study. You must work. You must do your best. You must seek the highest excellence. And that means awakening the Arjuna spirit within you. And what I have found is that Arjuna spirit, to some extent, was lost in India. At the same time, India has best preserved it as Arjuna as the spiritual warrior. But at the same time, in India and in the Hindu tradition, there needs to be, and there has been, and there is now coming, this greater awakening of that spirit of Arjuna, the spiritual warrior, the willingness to stand for that which is eternally true, the willingness to stand against all difficulty, all duality, all opposition, even if the entire world stands against you. A willingness to take on all difficulties and oppositions, even if it comes from your friends, even if it comes from your environment around you. We have a capacity within ourselves to face and transcend and go beyond all difficulties, to stand for the highest truth, to bring that into humanity, to challenge all the many false doctrines in our world and our society, to make a difference in the world and to make the world a better place, not only at an outer level, but at an inner level of the highest spiritual knowledge and self-realization. That is the Arjuna spirit. So that Arjuna needs to be awakened in each one of us. And you as the youth, if you want to go forward in life, do not be timid. Do not be fearful. Do not lack in confidence. You must go out there as if you had, because you do, the dedication of Arjuna and the guidance of Lord Krishna within you. You can make a difference, and that is very necessary today. The world is in a tremendous crisis born of materialism, false doctrines of all types, damage to the environment, every sort of social, political, religious, cultural division dividing people. What is transformative is the universal consciousness, the deeper self-realization, and the way to that is the deeper path of yoga. And that is what we have so brilliantly preserved, presented, and taught in the Hindu tradition for all humanity. I should think you should be, sometimes I'm accused of being a little bit too, you might say, proud, but the Hindu tradition has all the greatness you have in all the religions in the world, and I would say something more. There are more religions inside of Hinduism than outside of it, greater diversity of spiritual practices. And the Hindu tradition is not just a religion, it is a spiritual path, a spiritual science, a way of life, a way of connection with nature. It doesn't just connect us with one prophet or one teacher or book, but with the entire cosmic mind and the universal knowledge that Sri Krishna brought to us. So today we have our new Kurukshetra. You have Kurukshetras in each of your lives. You have tremendous challenges, oppositions, difficulties, monumental issues to deal with that are not only personal but also social and global, and there's no way that you as a mere human individual can deal with those. But you have within you that divine spiritual warrior, Lord Krishna, Arjuna, and his great guide, Lord Krishna, with you at every moment. If you invoke that Arjuna spirit and that presence of Krishna, you can overcome any possible difficulty. You can master any possible art, any possible science. You can master the greatest spiritual knowledge on any level. You can be a presence in society that can have a magical, transformative effect, not as a separate individual, but as a conduit, a presence, a devotee for the supreme divine knowledge and the supreme divine presence. So as Hindu youth, it is your duty, it is your dharma, it is also your blessing that you can hold that Arjuna spirit and you can bring it to the Western world, you can bring it to the world as a whole, but you need to awaken that within yourself, and you need to do that by recognizing that Lord Krishna is within you and nothing can overcome you. You need to follow the Dharma. Dharma will protect you. Dharma will sustain you through everything, but you need to do that with a practical daily life, yoga, meditation. Your life should be based upon karma yoga. Don't let anyone tell you that karma yoga is an inferior path. In many ways, karma yoga is the highest path. It's only when we have the deeper insight and knowledge that we can act with true service, in a true devotional way, ritualistic way, to make the world a better place and to share the knowledge with everyone. Live according to Dharma, follow a path of karma yoga, and then inwardly there is the space for the flowering of the deepest devotion, the bhakti yoga, the devotion to the divine, not as one God as opposed to another, but as a sacred presence within all beings and pervading the entire universe. There can awaken within you the Jnana Yoga, the knowledge that Sri Krishna dwells within me. Krishna and I are one. I am the self of the entire universe. The entire universe which works within me. The body and mind are mere instruments. They are not our true nature. You are that universal consciousness that is behind all bodies, all minds, all worlds, and has the power of transformation on all levels for all beings if we awaken to that spirit within us. And also recognize that in this great Sanatana Dharma, we have all the great Vedic sciences, Ayurveda, ultimate healing system for body and mind. We have the Jyotish for the understanding of time and karma, the Vastu for the understanding of all the subtle influences in the realm of space. We have all the great arts, the music and dance that you have been seeing, which is not just simply a cultural, artistic expression. It is a reflection of universal rhythms, pranava, nada, cosmic music, the cosmic dance, the all-pervasive reality. We have in the Hindu tradition the ultimate science, which is the science of consciousness. Modern science can never reach the higher truth unless we cultivate that inner science of consciousness through yoga and meditation. You see how popular yoga is becoming in the West today. Krishna is Yoga Avatara. He is the avatar manifestation of yoga on all levels, bhakti, jnana, karma, raja, hatha. He is the manifestation of the supreme Ananda or bliss. The world needs the full science of yoga, and the Gita is the ultimate yoga shastra. Each section of the Gita is a yogic teaching, not simply as an outer practice, but as an inner understanding of the mind, attitudes, emotions, gunas, meditation, samadhi, pratyahara, pranayama. Many people are studying the Yoga Sutras today, which is a wonderful text, but you will find the deeper meaning of the Yoga Sutras in the Bhagavad Gita and in the life of Lord Krishna. So let us remember Sri Krishna, incarnation of Dharma, incarnation of yoga, and his understanding and deep manifestation of the divine in every aspect of human life. The divine as the child, the baby, the infant, the divine as the a playful youth, the divine as the lover with the gopis, the divine as the king, the divine as the warrior, the divine as the great sage. Krishna embodies, like the peacock, all the colors of the rainbow and shows us the divine presence in the whole of life. And that is why he has been the supreme avatar and the great teacher on all levels. There are two ways to reach Krishna. One is through Arjuna, which is the way we have discussed, and the other is Sri Radha. I won't have time to discuss that as well. But that deep divine devotion also takes us to Lord Krishna. We need Radha, we also need Arjuna, and it is the purpose, the dharma of the Hindu youth today to manifest these energies, to bring them forth, to embody them, and to aid Krishna in bringing about a new yuga, a new world age, a new transformation of a unitary society based upon dharmic, spiritual, and yogic values in the East and also in the West, in India and also in America. And it's for that reason that we are here, and it's for that reason that we should remember Krishna and Arjuna. Jai Shri Krishna.
Yes, Jai Shri Krishna. Beautiful. I think we can keep on listening to you. It was so beautiful, and now I know why they call you modern guru. You try to explain scientifically too, in terms of energy and all that. By the way, you're still listening to Voice of Sanatan Hinduism